Hey G-Fans, GoGFan93 here, and welcome to my second video in celebration of Godzilla's 60th anniversary. In this video, I will be doing my review of the 2014 SH Monsterarts Godzilla. Alright guys, so here we have the Godzilla 2014 SH Monsterarts figure. Now this figure has been out for a while if you imported it from Japan, but this figure did recently come out, I believe a couple weeks ago for America. But anyway, so yeah, this figure though is really awesome. I actually really dig this figure. A lot of people say that it's not the best 2014 figure out there, but I really like it because it's kind of a stylized version of 2014, and there's not many 2014 figures out there that actually take a little bit of a, make them a little bit stylized, because this is not suit accurate, or well, not suit accurate in this case, but it's not accurate to the design of the Godzilla in the movie. So, but anyways, without further ado, let's begin with the sculpt and detail. So yes, the sculpt and detail on this figure is, obviously it's SH Monsterarts, so you're going to get really good detail with the, scales and all that stuff. So let me bring him up a little close here so you guys can get an idea of what he looks like. So yeah, so we get a lot of good detail on the, back, the little scales over here. We don't have the tree bark kind of style that the old Godzilla had. This one's a little bit more, I don't know. I don't really know what to like say of what his texture would be, but his spikes are probably the best thing about this figure. The dorsal plates are really well done, really well sculpted. And we got his feet, really nicely done there. Hopefully my camera's gonna focus here, but yeah, so really nicely done on the feet. And then we got the underside, the belly right here. We got his like little, I don't know, six-pack or whatever. And then we got his tail going through here, really awesome. Very long tail, and a little point right there. And then his head, and this is the part of the figure that a lot of fans didn't really like, but I'm alright with it. I mean, when we talk about the paint, apps, I'll talk about that, but I like the face. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, it's not, design accurate, but I like it. It's menacing. I mean, look at that. It's like, brrr. But, yeah, I like the face design. But, yeah, so I do like the overall sculpt and detail of this figure. I think it is a really nice figure. Alright, on to scale. So I'm going to bring out a couple figures to scale this guy up with. Alright, so the figures that I'm going to bring up are the Bandai Creation Godzilla 2014, just so you guys can see the comparison between these two figures. Now obviously, in my opinion, I do like the Bandai Creation figure a lot more. One, because it costs a lot less, and also because I just really like the figure. And you guys know how I like this figure if you guys watch my review of this guy. But yeah, so that's how these two look. And the other one, obviously, I'm going to be talking about the NECA with the SH Monsterarts. A lot of people, this comparison has been talked about a lot. Basically, it all comes down to your preferences, your budget, whether you like, whichever one. Personally, I do like the SH Monsterarts a little bit more. One, because the color scheme in him is a little bit better than the NECA. I wasn't too fond of the NECA's color scheme. There wasn't a lot of color in him, unless you got like the blue variant, but I don't have the blue variant. I think I just have the normal variant. Obviously the NECA figure is a lot more design accurate, but once again, I like the fact that SH Monsterarts wanted to make a little bit of a stylized Godzilla 2014, because we have enough Godzilla 2014 toys that are, accurate to the design. But anyways, also when it comes to articulation, I mean, these two are they kind of have the same articulation. Obviously, SH Monsterarts is going to be a lot more articulation with it, but still, I mean, these are two great figures, though. I mean, it doesn't matter which one you get. I'm keeping this one. I thought I was going to replace him with the SH Monsterarts, but then I ended up getting the 1994 NECA figure, and I'm going to actually collect the NECA figures, so I decided to keep this guy. But yeah, so there's a size comparison. Also, both these guys are these are 6 inches, 6-inch toys, so they fit perfectly with your Bandai figures or other SH Monsterarts figures. And I'm not sure what the scale comparison with the other monsters are, because I don't have any other SH Monsterarts except for Biollante, but I don't feel like getting her right now because she's kind of in the back on my shelf. So I don't know if it's accurate to the movie size. I'm not sure, but someone in the comments can say if this 2014, I mean, obviously I don't think this guy would be scale accurate because this Godzilla is the biggest Godzilla, so I don't think he would match up if they did make him scale accurate. But overall, he fits perfectly on your shelf. I thought he was going to be a little bit bigger than the NECA figure, but he is actually mostly the same size, so he does fit really well on your shelf. So definitely good with the scale. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the paint. Now, obviously when I did do a little bit of a comparison with the NECA figure, I did talk about that I like this one's paint job a lot more. There's a lot more, I mean, there's not too much color because with Godzilla, especially with this Godzilla, there's not a lot of color going on. But I do like how at least they gave a little bit of highlights in some areas of Godzilla and how they painted his toenails. I really, really like that. Sadly, his nails are still not painted. I don't know if you guys can tell. I don't know if it's going to focus here for you, but I can't see. Yeah, it's not going to focus here, but from what I can tell, though the nails, his fingernails aren't painted, but his toenails are, and I really like that because it really brings out his feet. Also, I've gotten used to his feet. I've gotten used to the 2014 Godzilla's feet. I think they're fine. I'm not really like, you know, oh, the feet are terrible. I don't care anymore. I think they're fine. But yeah, once again, the spikes are not painted, which, you know, kind of bugs me about the overall design. That's not the figure's fault. That's the designer's fault of the movie, how they decided to keep the dorsal plates the same color as his body. But anyway, so from what I can tell here, we have just a dark, kind of greenish gray. It's like there's hints of green, like highlights. I mean, not, well, they're not really highlights, but I can sort of see a little bit of spots of some green. But mostly overall, most of his body is this gray charcoal. But under him, we have these highlights of this green, this dark green going through here. And that's what I love about it. It just brings out more character. And then in the face, we obviously have his teeth, white, and inside his mouth it's red. And his eyes, I don't know if you guys will be able to tell because they're really small. That's the one thing I didn't really care for about this design was his eyes. His eyes are really small. But they are yellow, and they do have a little dot for his pupils, but some people have reported that this figure, like sometimes the pupils are derpy on this side, but I don't know, I think my figure, I think the paint job was fine. Let me take a look. Oh no, I do see it. Okay, his eye is a little bit derped. So yeah, this eye that you guys are looking at right now, it's a little bit looking down while the other one's looking straight. So yeah, he's a little bit looking derpy, but you know, the teeth, the paint job on the teeth, I would have to say was a very poor job. The teeth do look terribly painted. I don't know who approved the paint job for the teeth, but the teeth just look like a mess. That does not look good. I mean, let's look at the NECA figure again. Let's look at his teeth. I mean, I think the NECA's teeth aren't really any better. I mean, they're also kind of messed up. But that's when you got the good old Bandai Creation having some good paint detail on his teeth. Look at that, that's perfect. You can actually see like each individual teeth. It's really awesome. But anyways, we already did reviews of those figures. But so yeah, the mouth paint job not good. That was definitely a thumbs down. They definitely could have done a lot better job because I've seen other SH Monsterarts figures when it comes to Godzilla, and the teeth were better painted. So I don't know why this figure they decided to just be lazy with it. But overall, I do like the paint job on this figure, so 2 thumbs up from me. Alright, now, obviously this is SH Monsterarts, so we're going to talk about the articulation. These are the figures you want to get if you want articulation in your figures. There's no other toy line right now that beats SH Monsterarts when it comes to articulation. Even NECA does not have as many points of articulation as SH Monsterarts does. So, let's begin. Alright, so start with his head. His head turns left and right. I think you can also bring up and down, but his neck also has joints in between, so you can maneuver his head around like this. So that's pretty good right there. Can't really move the base of his neck that much. Can't really do that. He'll probably risk popping his head off. His arm does move. Not sure if they spin, but who gives a crap if they spin. Once again, this one's a little bit more trickier on my figure. I don't know if it's different for you guys. And then at his elbow, those move. We actually got a lot of rotation with that, if you guys can see right there. I'm trying to get a good camera angle for you guys. And then his wrists, his hands spin as well. So there's a lot of articulation with the hands. You can, if you're a stop motion director or whatever, like if you're doing stop motion with Godzilla figures, his hands are really good. So you can get some really good movements with that. Then we move on to his feet. So his feet, they do move at the hips, and then his knees can bend like that. You guys can see his knee. He also has some joints right there. If you guys can see right here, there's a joint, and also here at his foot can rotate as well. So that's pretty neat. But then the one problem is you can make him split like that, but then you can kind of see some gaps. There are some gaps in this figure that they didn't really clean up well. If you guys can kind of see, that gap. It's kind of a very bad seam right there. So if you're making a stop motion film, you might want to do some editing or some kind of way to cover that, to you know, kind of not have have an illusion that it's not a toy. But that doesn't bother me because I just put them on the shelf and look at them. So yeah, and obviously the tail is the biggest thing. This tail has so many points of articulation, it's crazy. And then we get to the very tip. So let's see. So yeah, just moves all the way up like here, very end of the point here, and this point will break off because it is a ball joint right there. So be very careful with that. But yeah, so that is a lot of articulation. Oh, I also forgot to mention that his torso does move a little bit. You can move like up and down like that. So you can get a lot of points of articulation with this guy. So for stop motion people, it's a really good figure for that. Alright, so my final thoughts on the figure. I dig this figure a lot. I'm really happy I got this figure. I don't normally collect SH Monsterarts figures. I made an update video talking about why, so if you guys have any questions why I don't collect a lot of SH Monsterarts, just go watch that video and you guys can see why I don't. But I'm really glad I picked this guy up. Now, obviously, just my luck, right when I bought this guy, they had Toho or Japan is getting this like box set or whatever with like a repaint where he's like all red to match like the poster design or something like that. And they're also coming out with one with painted dorsal plates that are blue to make it look like he's about to fire his breath. And they also come with a Muto head at the end of the movie where he, you know, does the kiss of death. So and also a beam add-on, which I don't care for those little add-ons, but for the people who do, that'll be a really cool thing to get. So I'm not going to be getting those repaints or reissues. This is the one I'm sticking with. I got him, so you know I'm happy with it. But yeah, overall this figure is really awesome. I like this guy. I do highly recommend it. But if you haven't gotten him yet, I would recommend waiting for the figure that comes out with the blue dorsal plates with the Muto head and the beam attack. I feel like that would be a better investment than just the figure. So it's just all about personal preference. If you guys want to get them now, get them now. Or if you want to wait for those other ones, then do that. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I love this figure, and that's all I got for you guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay big, G fans. I'm 60 years old.